liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.
You are tapped in. Let's get right to it. So there are comparisons between Michelle Obama and Melania Trump as first ladies. They often arise from analysis of their contrasting approaches to the role, public personas, and styles. Despite some shared background experiences, these comparisons are driven by media, public opinion, and political analysis that highlight differences in visibility, advocacy, and communication styles. Now, that being said, it's a wonder to a lot as to why Michelle Obama would be compared to Melania Trump. And just based on, let's say, public persona and role, of the differences between those two. I don't think, or a lot of people don't think that there's a comparison or one should be made in that regard dealing with these two women. Then you have speech and communication. Again, there's a big difference there. Why compare them? There's no comparison. They're not on the same level in terms of speech and communication. All right. Then there's the fashion and style. Again, now that could be something that's a toss-up. It could be a 50-50. Also, when we talk about these comparisons, there is the political context, because, see, public views on first ladies are often closely tied to their husbands' approval ratings. The ideological differences between Barack Obama and Donald Trump lead to inevitable comparisons between their spouses. So let's say that Melania Trump may be getting a bad deal. There's no other way to put that other than to say it just like that. She's getting a bad deal, and some observers would or have highlighted parallels in their personal journeys, noting both women were raised in modest environments and worked hard to achieve their careers before becoming first ladies. Now, as far as Melania Trump goes in terms of working hard to achieve, whatever it was in her career, I'm not sure of a career that she has. But I am aware that Michelle Obama has a JD. Not only that, she has done numerous grassroots participated and advocated numerous grassroots involvements and projects throughout Chicago and other areas. Now, that being said, again, this, I think, is all about preference. You know what I mean? Because, to really want to weigh or compare Melania Trump to Michelle Obama, that would be a bad look. It doesn't actually help Melania Trump to compare her to Michelle Obama in no form or fashion. It just doesn't, The thing, though, what they both have not in their favor are the controversies that surrounded them both. For instance, Michelle Obama, her early campaign commitments, things that she said, for instance, for the first time in my adult life, I'm really proud of my country, which critics used to question her patriotism. You know what I mean? Then there was the terrorist fist jab imagery, between her and Barack, that fist bump thing they did, but it was a playful fist bump between the two. But again, the right took that and, they made it bigger than what it really was. You know what I mean? There's the arm gate and decorum. She faced criticism for wearing sleeveless dresses, which seemed to be inappropriate to a lot, to quite a few who critiqued her style, Anyway, and then there was the recent backlash, which was more recently, she faced negative press for appearing on a comedy program shortly after the murder of her close friends, which some critics labeled as an inappropriate or vile public appearance given the timing. All right. Now, on the contrast, Melania Trump. Melania Trump's, her bad press often stems from her communication style and actions that appear out of sync with her official role, plagiarism allegations, You know, everyone should be familiar with that. In fact, I have the clip. I'm going to show that clip in a few seconds here. You want to see it, don't want to miss it, in case you've never seen it before. But she has been accused for her plagiarism in her 2016 RNC speech, which drew widespread condemnation for containing passages clearly identical to Michelle Obama's 2008 DNC speech. Also, Melania Trump, the I really don't care jacket. Perhaps her most notorious moment was wearing a Zora jacket emblazoned with the phrase, I really don't care, do you, on the jacket, you know. And then private recordings in 2020, leaked recordings revealed her expressing frustration and using expletives regarding her traditional First Lady duties, specifically White House Christmas decorations. And now we know, no doubt about this, there are a couple of things in recent media. One, her media fuel in April 2026, she faced renewed bad press and social media roasting after demanding that ABC fire Jimmy Kimmel for a joke comparing her to an expectant widow following a shooting at a political event. Now, couple that with the fact that her name is involved or is being included into the Epstein files. Okay, now she came out a month or so ago and said, hey, I have nothing to do with the Epstein files. Barely knew the guy, didn't know Ghislaine Maxwell. Come to find out, they have emails that they exchanged, her and Maxwell. And also there's the allegation that, yes, she knew Jeffrey Epstein before she knew Donald Trump. So, you know, all that is in the air. Now, again, when you talk about comparisons, I think, though, there, for whatever reason, there seems to be an issue with those on the right, still with Michelle Obama. To want to compare Melania Trump to Michelle Obama again is just a bad choice. Just a bad choice. Let's get to these clips, because these clips are going to help us understand what's really being done or what's being said by the right in terms of Melania Trump. I don't know why you, well, that being said, before we get to the clip, please like, share, follow, comment, and subscribe to the Art of Political Discourse. You are tapped in. We appreciate you guys' participation and viewership. Again, we ask that you continue to help us reach that 5,000 mark, subscription mark by the end of this month. We're doing great. Thank you for those who have liked, shared, and subscribed to this channel. So again, we appreciate you. Let's get to this clip. Very telling. And this is the plagiarism clip of Melania Trump back in the day, where she decided, hey, I can get away with this.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values.
Okay, so that's August 25th, 2028 in Denver. Michelle Obama.
Like, you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed
Now, this is Melania Trump.
on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life.
Now, this speech she's giving is identical. It's been confirmed. She pretty much plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech in 2008. She turned around and repeated the same speech almost identically in 2016 for the RNC convention. She was condemned for that, but, you know.
That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Okay. And yeah, that was that. All right. That was Melania Trump giving her 2016 RNE, Republican National Convention speech. You know, plagiarized, clearly plagiarized. All right. Excuse me for that. So there's that comparison. All right. And that goes to, again, let's say, I would put that under speech and communication. That's what I would actually label it as. You know, her speech, her communication skills are not up to par. You can't even compare her communication in terms of how she effectively communicates whatever message has been written for her. You know, it is subpar as well. Now, there is also the issue of, excuse me, hold on, let me get you. I got another clip for you. All right. Okay. Now this one in terms of style and fashion is something to, you know, to consider as well. You want to look at this and say, okay, you know, are they the same? Are they different? You know, which style is more fitting for the first lady who's wearing it, you know? Let's check this out.
When it comes to First Lady fashion, the stakes are as high as the heels. Public scrutiny, historical moments, and global audiences mean every outfit is more than just fabric. Michelle Obama and Melania Trump may have shared the same role, but their wardrobes tell two very different stories. Let's unravel this sartorial saga, shall we? If Michelle Obama's First Lady style was a vibrant bouquet, Melania Trump's wardrobe was a sleek, monochromatic runway. With her model background and taste for high-end luxury, Melania's style leaned towards sophistication and timelessness. Her outfits were meticulously curated, projecting an image of poise and control.
No, not to me. It looks more like a, no matter how she dressed, she has a stoic, you know, countenance. You know, she doesn't seem relaxed at all. You know, this is reflective to me of an individual who doesn't like the limelight, you know. And that's kind of odd because it's alleged she was a model. You know, she walked the runway. So she seems so out of place here, so out of place. And that's not just in terms of the political limelight, in, you know, those events she has to attend with Donald Trump and, you know, all those in that political circle. But when she's out and about by herself, you know, there's also this look about her that just isn't, it doesn't seem natural. It doesn't seem natural.
Melania's fashion evolution began long before her tenure as First Lady. During her days as a model, she embraced the glamour of the 90s. Think sequin, plunging necklines, and bold silhouettes. But as she transitioned into the public eye alongside Donald Trump, her style shifted towards a more polished, understated aesthetic. When she appeared in a Barbara Walters special in 2015, it was an example of her shifting style. In 2016, at the Republican National Convention, Melania's white dress stood out due to its simplicity and the playful design of its sleeves. This marked the beginning of a more calculated approach to her fashion. Melania used her clothing as a way to subtly communicate her identity and her husband's vision, signaling a shift from glam to more political messaging. Her 2017 inaugural outfit, a powder blue Ralph Lauren coat and dress combo, paid homage to Jackie Kennedy. Complete with matching gloves, it was a moment of nostalgia.
Well, one thing is for sure, she has a knack or a tendency to always copy others. You see though from the start, she's being, it seems to me, she's being coached and groomed to make this transition to a more sleek or conservative look, or just laid back. I wouldn't even call it laid back, but more of a a more private look.
That harken back to the elegance of Camelot. Despite the controversy surrounding some designers' refusal to dress her, Melania's choice of Ralph Lauren, a quintessential American brand, was a calculated nod to tradition and unity. The evening brought
Yeah, it does remind me of a more Jacqueline Kennedy look in some respects, not completely, but yeah, you could see where she's taken some of that Jacqueline Kennedy flair, and tried to apply it to herself. Okay, let's go here. And this is Michelle Obama.
Michelle and Melania's approach to fashion could not be more different. Michelle's style was vibrant, experimental, and inclusive.
Again, more inclusive. You get the impression with Melania Trump that she's more closed off. She's not open. She doesn't want to be included. For the most part, it seems as though she doesn't want to be there. Also, let's take into account that these are different cultural women. All right. And so you would expect from Michelle Obama more colorful and, outward, being more out and inclusive, being more open, you know what I mean?
Embraced young designers, championed affordability, and wasn't afraid to take risks. Her wardrobe felt modern and dynamic, reflecting a first lady who connected deeply with everyday Americans. Michelle Obama made the White House a stage for emerging designers, broke barriers with her bold choices, and proved that style can be both aspirational and attainable. Her fashion journey was a love letter to boldness, accessibility, and relatability. During her tenure as First Lady, Michelle became known for her bold fashion choices, blending high-end designer pieces with more accessible, ready-to-wear items. Her wardrobe reflected her personality, confident, approachable, and modern. Michelle's support for young American designers, such as Cuban-American Isabel Toledo and Jonathan Simkai, demonstrated her commitment to championing emerging talent. Throughout her time in the White House, Michelle attended countless state dinners, red carpet events, and diplomatic meetings, and she always looked poised and elegant. She knew how to make a statement with fashion, and she did so often. On the night of her husband's election in 2008, Michelle stunned in a fiery red and black speckled dress, breaking the unspoken rule that public figures should dress in sober and muted tones. At the inauguration ball, she wore a floor-length white gown designed by Jason Wu, which featured intricate organza flowers. What set Michelle apart was her relatability. While Melania's wardrobe was often inaccessible to most, Michelle embraced a mix of high and low fashion, bringing affordable options into the spotlight.
All right. So I wanted to share that with you guys in terms of, the style, fashion, the fashion sense and the style in terms of these two first ladies. For Michelle Obama, you saw a more inclusive style, what I'm saying? Whereas with Melania Trump, you saw a difference in terms of it being not inclusive, but, standoffish almost in terms of how she dressed. Very, again, stoic, a look just unapproachable almost, just too sharp. You know what I mean? Just get too near, you get cut, So that was the difference in terms of style and fashion. But again, before that, we talked about how the communication, and speech styles of both of these women are totally different. totally different for obvious reasons. Then there was the issue where Melania Trump did plagiarize some of Michelle Obama's 2008 speech. That's something that, you shouldn't be done. It shouldn't be done, but it was, Now couple that with the fact that, again, there were controversies between the two. Michelle's controversy could be labeled the same as Melania's controversy, coming from both ends of the political spectrum. The RNC against Michelle, the DNC against Melania, So those sort of things will occur. They have to be acknowledged as, political fodder, what I mean? Just, these are shots being taken at these women. Now, that being said, aside from whatever controversy the media or, opposing sides want to create for these women to put them in a bad light or their husbands in a bad light, the fact still remains that there are issues evolving around, let's say, for instance, Melania Trump and her supposed or alleged involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. We hear no such thing with Michelle Obama. And in fact, her public, persona, her how the public sees Michelle Obama is it's flawless. There aren't any controversies that are especially on the level that we see Melania Trump involved in. And so, to her credit, Michelle, or in that respect, I would give Michelle the upper hand. Well, a couple of more notches, because honestly, truthfully speaking, there is no comparison between Michelle Obama and Melania Trump. Melania Trump can't wear her shoes, can't hold a candle to her. If fashion is your thing, then I would imagine some would say, okay, well, she got her there. All right. Yeah. Go on. You can have that one. Michelle is a more, down to earth. You could tell in how she dressed, her style, down to earth person, her colors in her clothes, all that just speaks volumes about, not just herself, but the culture she's a part of. All right. So you guys tell us what you think in terms of the comparisons between Michelle Obama and Melania Trump. Not only that, but their tenures as first ladies. They both had 2 runs as first ladies. Who stood out the most? Who did or involved themselves in those issues or concerns of the public the most? All right. And whose husband reflects on these women the most? I mean, does Barack Obama's attitude, demeanor, how he carries himself, always professional, always presidential, affect Michelle Obama? Or by the same token, is Donald Trump's behavior, how he carries himself, is that presidential, and does that affect Melania Trump's standing or how she's viewed in the public eye? Let us know what your comments are. Drop them right in there. Give us your thoughts, and we will address each and every one of them. So until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
You can murder a liberator, but you can't murder liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder revolution. And you can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom.